Hello, fellow crafters. I have a treat for you today. So, we're going to create a a Christmas photo postcard, so to speak. Um, Normally, when you get postcards or you create Christmas postcards, we make them, from printing papers, right? And we print the image on there, but we're going to create our own. So, I have here distress spray and mica spray. Where I did start with a 5x7 card panel, and I'm gonna cut it down, but I just wanted to have the maximum amount of space so I knew exactly what I was working with. This is my little bin that I keep. I put the little clips in the side of the paper so that it stays bent over. And I'm just gonna place my paper inside of the bin on the napkin, and I'm just gonna spray where I think is best. And if you decide to try this, you're going to spray where you think is best. I like the fact that I used mica and distress stain spray just because it mixes the two and adds that shine, but still not overly shiny. So I love it. And I'm not going to really too much saturate the back where you can't see any white. I just wanted to slightly give it a color, and when it dries, it's going to be beautiful. It looks splotchy right now, but trust me, trust the technique, right? I'm gonna dry it with my heat gun for a little bit, just to kind of aid with the drying process, and we don't have to wait too long. And I will skip different sections so that you guys are not sitting here watching me, you know, dry and waiting for this stuff to dry. So I'm just gonna dry it, place it aside, and let it finish fully drying on its own. Now, this is my Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine. Now I'm going to emboss with, this is one of Gina's 5x7 embossing folders, and this one's called Snowflake. I'm gonna place our panel that we had used with the mica spray and the distress spray, and I'm gonna run it through the die cutting machine. Guys, it came out beautiful. I loved how the colors, and then the fact that it's snowflakes, and the embossing, it looks beautiful. But we're going to step this up, right? So I have here, these are one of my Simon Says stamp die inks, and it's a beautiful like blue, like a bluish kind of violet, but it's more blue ink. And I'm just gonna take a brayer, run my brayer on the ink pad, and then softly, not push too hard, go ahead and roll over my embossed panel. This will help to pick up all of that image and kind of make it more visual, right? And it helps to make it the focus of attention. So now I'm taking one of my dies. This is from my waffle flower. I believe it's the additional A2 layer die. And I'm going to position it in the center. So this is for portrait photos. And then we're going to die cut this out. Now, if you're trying to figure out the size, this one's wallet size. And wallet size are 2.5 by 3.5, I believe. So I just measured a die that would measure that measurement, or even a little bit slightly bigger. And then that's the die I decided to make as my frame for my photo. Now, you don't have to make it the exact, you can make it slightly smaller, because we all know that they have some type of borders on some wallet. Yeah, I'm losing my words. There is a border on some wallet size photos. So we just went ahead and we made it so it could fit a wallet size and account for that border. Now, next we are going to cut the acetate size to be slightly bigger than our frame. And I tried doing it with a die cutting machine with my dies. Guys, that did not work. I ended up just cutting it with a scissor and following the lines the die made, but it did not cut through at all. You might have to run it one or twice if you're not a great scissor cutter, and that's fine. But I could not get it cut with one pass. So now we're just gonna add a little bit of Barely Arts glue around it. Don't go too close to the frame because you don't want it to seep out. I apologize for that light flicker. My kids, once again, turned off the light on me. Love them, gotta love them. So we're gonna place the acetate on top and we're gonna let that dry. So you could set something on top of it so that it can dry. Then we're gonna create our border frame that we're going to put around the front of the frame, right? The window. So we're gonna create a border. I'm using some silver matte from Sizzix. Again, the products that I use will be in the description below. And I used 2 dies, tried to make sure that they were as even as possible. I cut it out to create this beautiful border. And honestly, I am not perfect at that, but this one came out perfect. So I am proud. That was like check for me, okay? So I'm just gonna measure it, make sure it's good, make sure it's gonna fit, and then I'm gonna use glue, my Barely Arts glue, to go ahead and glue that down to my window. Now, you can use a what's it called? Oh my gosh, I am losing my words, guys. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? Bear with me here. You can use the the adhesive tapes, right? However, you did use mica spray, so it's very possible that it will lift. So you need to make sure that you use a very strong adhesive, okay? I'm using my Barely Arts glue 'cause it's glue, and I know it's more likely to stick on to whatever surface I place it on. So glue is my preference, and it works. Like it has not come off. It's been days now. I'm now doing this voiceover. So I'm gonna place a block, one of my acrylic blocks on top, um, just to help it stay down and dry, right? And then we're gonna move on to the next thing, our beautiful snowflakes. Now, these snowflakes, however, are from a different die. This one's actually from one of my Trinity Stamps dies, and I cut it out in glitter silver. Trying to figure out the placement that I wanted because I didn't want it to become the center of the card. I wanted the photo that is placed inside to become the center of attention, and the snowflakes to kind of just bring it all together, bring the eyes towards the photo and just enhance the look, not necessarily take over, right? So I ended up only using 2 of my snowflakes, and they have these little small snowflake like, they remind me of like the SpongeBob flowers. And so I just found a place for them. Then I decided I want to cut this down slightly because the 5x7 folder, it does have a little border where it does not emboss. So I cut it down slightly. I didn't really have a measurement. I just cut it down to what I thought was a pretty good size, right? So it doesn't have to be 5x7, and that's the thing, right? We started off 5x7, but you do not have to make your card 5x7. It can be any size card you want. And when it comes to envelopes, then if it's, this would still fit in a 5x7 envelope and mail, no problem. And if we were doing A2 size cards, it can still fit. If we made it a mini card, it can still fit inside of A2 size envelope. So remember that. You don't have to create your card at a specific size. You create your card whatever size you want, and what makes it, I guess you could say, what makes the design that you're looking for, because sometimes things are too big, right? Or we make them too big, and we can't decorate enough. So just make it the size that you want it to be, right? Now here I'm measuring the card because I did not actually measure the size that I cut it down to. I just placed my panel at the corner of a cardstock, and I just did lines where my cards ended, and then I'm going to use my trimmer. And at first I kind of just cut it down, and then once I was able to see my actual blade area, then I knew exactly where I was cutting, and cut it up to the line, turn it, cut that up to the line. And I used the pencil line that I used, and I made it line up with the edge of my trimmer. That kind of helps when you're trying to cut your paper, right? And you're trying to be very precise with it. So once it's cut down, I needed to figure out, because I forgot to draw a line on my frame. It's probably better if I actually had cut the paper together, or after I did my frame, I went ahead and I measured my my window, and drew a line so that I knew where it was going to be for my backing, but I didn't. So I just placed one of the die cut that we used to make the frame, and put it back onto the cardstock, and then slightly lift it up, and it's exactly where it's supposed to be. Then I just went ahead and with a pencil, I went ahead and drew out the outline of where my window should be placed at, so that I don't, for one, put in the wrong place, and two, we're going to die cut a slot for you to put the photo in. So I needed to know exactly where it started and where it ended. Now, this is one of my sentiment dies, and I just took the sentiment die that will fit that photo frame that I use, so my wallet size photos, and where that line was, I just made sure I went right on top of that line, because you don't want it to show through your window. You want it to be right on top of the line so that you or whoever your buyer is, for those that sell cards, will be able to put in that photo through the slot, right? And then your adhesive tape, you're going to want to place it on the outside of those lines that you created. And what the adhesive tape does is that it creates a border so that your photo does not go too far down or moves around when your sender receives it. So you want to make sure that you line it up with your adhesive tape. And it doesn't matter really the size of the adhesive tape, it's just making sure that you go outside of that line of your window. The guideline that you made of your window, go outside of that line, right? And then you're going to place tape all around so that, of course, it is well stuck to your card panel. Now, I decided I didn't want to rip any more tape, so I took one of my glue tapes, my adhesive tape runners, and this is the Simon Says stamp one, and I just went along the border to make sure that I got every part of that backing, and then I just run a little bit on the bottom just to make sure it is well stuck on there, right? Remove your adhesive backings, and then you're going to place your card panel inside of on top. Lord have mercy. It is early morning, guys. You're going to place your card panel on top of your backing, of your your back paper so that your slot will be on top of the window and your backing should be equal to the size of your card panel. And that's what I'm going to do here. This idea actually came from, I had a friend who made an order where she wanted Christmas cards. Not just any Christmas card, but a Christmas card where she can put her family photo in. And so I was creating a bunch of different designs so that she can pick which one that she wants. So you will be seeing more videos that includes cards and photos. And that is the finished card, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys next time. Remember, you matter, you're beautiful, and your life is the art of this world.